Gunner, I missed you in the weight room this morning.
I was there at 8.
I actually
You
heard,
must have been there at 6.
I actually tweaked my, I tweaked my back.
He was lifting, but it was a walk.
Can you like use stuff like that, like middle of January when I'm a miserable human being, can it, to make me feel a little better? Oh, boy. Emily, later on today, is going to have a release. The world works in funny ways. But we agreed, I don't know, I guess it's 2 years ago, a little less than 2 years ago, to play Benedict last year and then Allen this year as our exhibition games. And little did we know that the whole situation in Charleston was going to take place. And, Senator Pinckney was the biggest Allen recruiter that I met in my time here. I mean, he just, I mean, you speak with him about Allen University and you can see the glow on his face. So the decision was made a while ago to honor the 9 families, and we've invited all the AME churches in the Midlands to have their membership be a part of the game here on Sunday, and obviously with Allen and Senator Pinckney's tie there, that's something that we've been putting together, and Emily will have something about that later on today. So we can talk about it all week and hopefully have just like last year for Benedict, have a great crowd in there and continue to address the unfortunate situation that took place that day this past summer, but all of the good that's happened since then.
Frank, you mentioned that you did play Benedict last year, Allen this year. Just how important is it to get the local colleges to come over and play and promote your program as well?
Yeah, Dave, as I get around and I meet people in the community here and around the state, and I was in a conversation with Bobby Gist a couple years ago, and he said to me, he said, "Frank, have you ever given thought of playing the local schools?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. I mean, it's I believe in the exhibition game and then one of those regular season games, against." Like this year, I think we got Francis Marion and Aiken one year, and obviously, school out of Hartsville. We played them Coker last year. And I said, yeah, absolutely. He said, well, see if we can give Benedict and Allen a chance one day. And then I did my research, and I realized that we've never played them. That just kind of made no sense to me, and so we spoke to the leadership of both schools and agreed to play one last year and the other one this year. And, I think there were some people who thought, like, well, that game has no interest. Well, 11,000 people later, a whole lot of fun in that arena last year. And, I don't know how many will show up to watch our team play Allen here on Sunday, but I would expect the fanfare that's going on in the community right now with basketball in general. I would expect a bunch of people to show up to come watch our guys play, and then obviously the proximity of Allen and their fan base, they get excited to come in our building and play the Gamecocks.
I know you can't talk about what happened this weekend, but at the same time, are you excited where your team is entering this, what really is a game week?
Yeah. This weekend, about the dinner I had at my house? Yeah, the ingredients were real good. Yeah, the ingredients were good. We had a cook-off. The guy that I was competing against actually had some great ingredients too. It's, I learned a lot from our team. I learned a lot. I'll say this about this team. We got the components to be a pretty good zone basketball team. And that kind of goes against my DNA. But as a coach, I can't be blind to some of the things that our guys do well. And when we spend time on zone, we're actually pretty good at it defensively. So I'm not telling you we're going to be a zone team, but I continue to learn that from them every day. And it was good to see our freshmen competing, against someone that they didn't compete with against for 3.5 weeks. Some of our freshmen are this is a good thing, not a bad thing. When freshmen, they're starting to get bogged down a little bit because of practice every day. And when you only got freshmen, then you're trying to figure out how to get your team to get better. What's great is when I watch Sindarius and Dwayne and Michael, Mendogas, Limonis, Stroman's kind of struggled here lately. But those other guys have been around here for a little bit. They're practicing better and harder today than they did a week ago. And that's that sense of urgency you got to have. And, the freshmen have gotten bogged down a little bit. And they'll be fine. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. That's as a coach, that's if you depend on freshmen to win, it makes it difficult. However, the freshmen have to help you win, and that's no different with our team. All those freshmen are going to have to impact our basketball team as the season goes on. But this weekend was good.
Frank, Mike says that he's basically seen you very relaxed this year, that it's the most relaxed that he's seen you, in a few years. Are you feeling the same way? And he says that it's because there's a lot of leaders on this team.
Here's the thing, whenever you take over somewhere where there is no success, somebody's got to create the mindset and the passion and the enthusiasm for the way the important things within your program need to be handled and addressed on a daily matter. They don't know. They got no idea. Somebody had to figure that part out, or it had to come from me. Well, if it's got to continue to come from me 4 years later, then we're probably scrambling to figure out how we can hold on to our jobs and things of that nature. And they've taken that animal. They've grabbed the bull by the horn, the players I'm talking about, and they've taken control over guys doing things the right way, over how excited they are about their daily approach. I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to lose my – that's why I was talking about the freshmen kind of hitting the wall, and the upperclassmen – they're not. They're further along than they were a week ago, from an enthusiasm, an energy, a toughness, a speed, attention to detail, and that's the kind of stuff, because you're always working to build trust. If you don't trust, you can't succeed. But trust is not a free kind of word. Trust has to be earned, and it's earned through many experiences. Trust doesn't cost money. Trust comes from difficult moments. Everyone likes each other in the off season. You're not competing against anybody. You just show up and kind of smile and do your thing. But when you get to this time of year, this is where trust kind of shows its head. And they've been great. So I've got no reason, am I going to get upset here and there? That's who I am. It's just part of my DNA. But I don't have any reason to be running around after them, because they're doing that on their own. They're policing themselves. And so then that allows us to do more coaching and improvement and X's and O's. And like I've told them, I shouldn't have to call, everything how, like, give you a quick example. I don't mean to drag my answer here, but little things like 2 years ago, I used to have 3 different plays, okay? Now it's just one play. Those guys understand the three different options. 2 years ago, I couldn't give them three options. I had to call play A, play B, or play C. And then they had to execute A, B, and C because they didn't understand how to be able to combine all three. Now it's just play A, and they know based on what's there how to play off each other to get option A, B, or C from just one play. That's the kind of growth that's taking place in our program. And the freshmen, now this is my challenge as a coach now. The freshmen only know A. They don't understand B and C. The upperclassmen, they know A, B, and C. So they're ready for D. The freshmen are stuck in A. And you got to manage that to make sure that you don't deprive the older guys from the continued improvement that they need, while also getting those young guys to kind of catch up and not lose faith that they're lost and they can't help. It's that's the challenge, and that's what we work to try and fix every single day now.
Coach, here in the back, Carrera was talking about these have been the best practices he's ever been a part of since he's been here. And just based on your reaction, too, I mean, can you just sense the amount of excitement in the locker room and for yourself going into this season when you talk about all this trust you have with these guys? I mean, is it building more than you've ever felt before since you've been here?
It's not even close. It's, every play in practice is competitive at every spot. There's no one gets a vacation in practice. Every guy out there is competing against another guy that's trying to do his best every single day. And when you create competition within yourself, it makes for high-level work, which then when you go out and compete against others, it makes the game easy. And not because the opponent's easy, it's just because that daily competition inside your organization is so fierce. And that's kind of where we're getting close to being at. And, practice has been good. Those guys, they're enthusiastic, they work. You guys sat here and listened to it 3 years ago. I went through my whole lack of life post-game press conference. I don't foresee us having that issue here anymore. It doesn't mean we're going to win more than we lose. I got no idea, nor do I care to worry about that kind of stuff. Winning is hard. I don't care who you play against. But when you have a group of guys that have grown, they've been scarred, and they haven't run away from the difficulties that winning brings. Contrary, they've come closer together and they've gained respect for one another while they've been pursuing that challenge. It creates trust. It creates an unbelievable enthusiasm amongst ourselves to go out and try it again. And practices have been fun. They don't drag. I don't go in there and lose my mind for 2.5 hours because we got guys taking shortcuts or not running or rolling their eyes, all the stuff that happens when you got guys that don't know. We're past those days, and so we practice better so you can be more productive. Now, does that mean we're going to win? I guess we're going to find out real soon. We don't get to postpone the games.
Frank, is everybody healthy, and will Tamarcus be allowed to go full go during the exhibition?
Yeah, he's full go. When he goes full for a couple days in a row, that third day he's like real sore. So we're still trying to figure out how to manage it best for him. In that cooking contest that we had at home, he actually ate real well in the appetizer part of the meal. But by the time it got to the desserts, he was too full and he didn't move around real good. And PJ rolled his ankle yesterday, so he couldn't finish practice. We're not going to practice him today. He'll be out tomorrow. It's just a simple ankle sprain. We don't anticipate that being a problem. I think that's it. He's back in practice. Yeah, he's kind of he's put me on the injured list. I'm back with the headaches again. It's
Did Dozier injure his ankle in?
yesterday. No, yesterday. Yeah. No, he. No.
You talked about what you're doing on Sunday, and it's just a continued effort of what y'all have done for the community, whether it's 8K in 8 days, going out for flood relief. How nice is it for you to see your guys take that to heart and just do so much for the community?
I think it's awesome, Brian. It's kids are fortunate to play basketball, and they all want to play professionally. And it's not my job to break those dreams. It's my job to help them figure out a way to make those dreams come true. But in the meantime, we also have to educate and prepare them so if those dreams do come true or they just fall short of that dream, that they never forget that the most important thing is giving back. Not acting like you're in a pedestal and everybody owes you, but on the contrary, realizing how hard everyone around you worked to help so you can go open a door for someone else whenever you're given the opportunity. And, and showing kids while they're here how to go back into the community, and whether it's playing in a game like Allen on Sunday or it's going to the Westview Community Center or the different programs that we've put our guys in front of during the off season, and we'll continue to do so. Or the elementary school that they were at last week on their day off reading, the freshmen, that they're still trying to figure stuff out. Makes them understand. I'm trying to, Phil, you might want to help me out here. That Dade County education of mine doesn't work real good, and then my mentor, Eddie Fogler, the words he teaches me don't work real good in public. So, philanthropical, is that well said? That's part of our jobs, is to prepare them for that day. So if they do have success, when they get there, they understand how to give back, not keep taking and taking and taking. But when you get to a place where you're fortunate, you learn how to keep giving back. And that's part of our duties, to educate, to prepare them for that day in their life.
Obviously, getting a guy like PJ Dozier can completely transform a program, but it also comes with a tremendous amount of pressures on PJ. Are there too many pressures on Dozier, and what are some reasonable expectations from his game this season?
Whatever you report is going to create the pressure on him. He doesn't receive pressure from us that he's a savior. He's just one of the guys on our team. He's going to be a great player. He's a great kid. He's one of those kids that brings people together. But he's got his hands full in practice every day with old Sindarius Thornwell now. And he's learning, and that's the problem when we kind of put the stickers on their heads that this freshman's the savior. He's the guy that's gonna protect the program. It's not fair to those kids, and don't get me wrong. I'm proud as heck that he's here and he's going to play big and help us in unbelievable ways. And he has the ability to do some things as a player that not too many people his age can do. But with all that said, he's also a couple months removed from his senior prom. And now he's dealing with Sindarius and Carrera in practice every day, and Dwayne Notice, and those guys are on him like on offense and defense. Nothing's easy anymore. He's trying to say, well, I used to be able to just drive the ball to the basket. Why won't this guy let me do that anymore? I used to, catch it and shoot it. Now by the time I catch it, I don't have space to shoot it anymore. So he's trying to figure the game out right now. But it's awesome. It's awesome that he believed in us. He's going to be unbelievable for us this year. The problem is that he's going to be unbelievable as PJ Dozier's unbelievable. Where the pressures of the world come from is the people that are not at practice every day, that don't really know his impact as a player. If they expect him to come out here and score 26 points a game, average 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 4 steals, and the day he doesn't meet those numbers, they say, well, he's not as good as advertised. That's the problem we've got. And that's when we get into this whole star system and you give a player 4 stars, 5 stars, or whatever it is, and they don't score X number of points, that doesn't mean they're not a great player. That just means that the person giving the stars thinks that scoring 25 points a game is what's a merit of a star, where a young man who averages 8.7 rebounds, 5 assists might be a 9-star guy for his basketball team rather than a 5-star player because he averages 20 points a game or whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just trying to answer your question before I get in a bad mood here in about 10 days.
I know you kind of touched on it, but when you've got Mike that's saying, the past 3 weeks have been a war, freshmen starting to hit a wall, is there a sense of relief that's kind of come over you knowing that this might be the year that you don't have to really worry about so much playing a 7-8-man rotation? You've got some depth that you've ultimately envisioned that you would have?
You trying to jinx me over there? I'll bang on that wood all day. It's the way we like to play. Depth is a big part of it, and the way you stay sharp to play your opponent is by the unity and the competition from the inside. It's been hard for us to duplicate that kind of edge internally because we had young guys, we didn't have enough bodies, all the stuff. Well, we're finally at a place where it's there. And hopefully we stay healthy physically and mentally, because mental health is also important when you're going through a season. Guys, bad decisions or just mentally they get to a difficult place and they don't engage the way you need them to mentally to keep people on edge. It's like I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. College basketball is the only form of basketball where kids practice 3 times as much as they play. So if you don't know how to practice, it's hard for you to succeed at college basketball. What do I mean by that? Well, we play 30 to 35 games in college. We practice about 110 times. That's how many practices we have. High school basketball, the way our grassroots has evolved and changed, between high school games and AAU games, these kids play 110, 20 games a year, but they practice 40 times a year. So they don't know how to, practices aren't as important. NBA, they play 100 preseason, postseason, 120 games a year. They don't practice 300 times a year. They practice whatever number of times they practice. College is the only place where you still practice 3 times more than the games you play. So guys have to understand how to practice. That's, everyone says, well, got to put them in a game. They never gave him a chance. Well, he never earned the right to get in the game. Why should he play? Playing time is not, hey, I like your personality, go play. The other 4 guys don't care about his personality. They're trying to win. And if I play a guy that hasn't earned the right to be on the court, then the other 4 guys, they're not going to do what I ask them to do. So then you hear about coach lost the locker room. That's how you lose the locker room. If there's an unhappy camper and 10 dudes that do what they're supposed to do, the unhappy camper needs how to adjust to do things the right way. You hear all the time, well, he's in the doghouse. Really? You really think I have a doghouse? Because I know you guys report that all the time. If I have a doghouse, they're not going to be on the team. That just means that's a young man that's trying to understand and learn on how to work every day to earn the right to play. I don't care how talented someone is. If they're not doing what they're supposed to do, why should they play? This isn't. Has anyone ever done anything for free for you in your journey, in your profession? Has anyone ever said, hey, here, have a nice time, it's all free? Has that ever happened? Your degree, your job, anything? Hey, we're going to make you the boss just because we like your smile. No, we're going to give you the lead story today just because we think you got a chance. Or you had 9 stars in college, so you deserve the right to play. No, it don't work that way. You've probably had to earn your way through everything you've been a part of. It's no different in what we do. We don't dislike. Let me tell you something. If there's a guy on my team I don't like, he's not going to be on our team. Plain and simple. Now, they have to learn how to earn the right to play. That's how I want my kids treated. I don't want my kids to ever be given anything for free. You have to earn the right to play. So when guys don't play, it's not because coaches don't like them. They don't know how to practice. If you don't know how to practice, why should you play in a game? If you think practice is a waste of time, why should you play in a game? Because when they get our age, not Phil's age, but our age, they give you a pink slip. They don't put you back in the game because you're a nice guy. They don't put you on the line and run you. They give you a pink slip and say, hey, thanks for showing up. Next. And, it's our job to get them ready for that day.
Maybe following up on that, do you have a plan for redshirting? I know, going back to that Tyrone Johnson situation with what happened at Villanova, I think you got to have a decision by Sunday. So do you meet with the guys or with experience and a little bit of depth now? Is that something that you have to think about this week?
The only player I've ever sat down and spoke about redshirting at this time of the year was when a young man by the name of Jamar Samuels, who played for us at Kansas State, he didn't qualify, so he had to stay out of school and keep working on his test score, and he enrolled in December. And the first day he showed up on campus, I said to him, Jamar, if you want to play, I'll play you. Or I'll let you practice, and I'll stick you in there whenever you earn the right to get in there. But I really think redshirting is going to be your best option. And he couldn't stand the fact that I said that to him. And then I spoke with his mom, and we convinced him that he should redshirt. He didn't like it. He was the happiest human being in the world that he had a senior year because he didn't waste his first year to play 12, 14 games, minimal minutes. I haven't had that conversation with anyone here. I'm not a big redshirt guy. It's those guys sign up to come here to play. If you told me that all freshmen should redshirt, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. But they sign up to play. They sign up to compete. If I start telling them to redshirt, then you know what they think? I don't think they're good enough. And we shouldn't have recruited them if we don't think they're good enough. When he walk in?
What's up, Coach? Just walked in. I have one question. With the SEC being not quite as strong as it's been, but a lot of the teams losing some of their top players, and fortunately or unfortunately, we haven't lost any players to a hardship or anything. So we've got everybody back with the exclusion of the guys that let go last year. Mm-hmm. What does that mean for us as far as the kind of how we play the game in the SEC? We've got guys that are experienced now. They're feeling good about themselves. We've added some great additions. What does that mean for us in the SEC?
Yeah. It's the first time going into the season, Alex, that in our players' minds, which is what matters the most. Forget about what's in my mind. It's what's in your players' minds. They feel good that they understand what it takes to win in an SEC basketball game. They feel confident that we've been through this. We know where we were at. We think we're better. We're more prepared. And that's the experience factor. And it's the first time since I've been here where we have guys that mentally are prepared for that and physically are older, stronger, more prepared. Like Sindarius right now, you come watch us. Sindarius is practicing at an unbelievable place right now. Yeah, he's mentally and physically at an incredible place. His freshman year, he had no idea what he was walking into. He thought because he was a good high school player, that meant that, well, we're going to go win games. And he realized it doesn't work that way. Last year, he battled his body. Now he's at a place where, okay, I overcame that. Now I'm in a good place. you know, Carrera, Vendagas, Limones, all those guys, Dwayne Notice, they're in a mentally in a safer place because of confidence, and confidence because of experience. And it's the first time since we've been here that we have that. You know, I've been talking to them a lot, and this is the stuff that you can talk to experienced teams about. We won these many games, and we lost these games, and where we had leads with 4 minutes to go or whatever it may be. The difference in those games, it's one more clean defensive pick and roll coverage, one more rebound, one more free throw, one more play that we execute better than we did last year. If we can kind of do those things, then that's the difference between winning and losing some of those games. They didn't understand that 2 years ago. They understand that now. So we can have those conversations, which, getting back to the question earlier, that's when you start coaching from an X and O standpoint. But that happens because the culture's in place now. You got the guys that understand that you don't have to fight them to compete. You don't have to fight them to learn how to work. Watching film. Now we got guys in the locker room asking us, like they show up in the office, say, hey, yesterday when we had the cooking contest that we've been laughing about, you know, they kept going, you know, inside this one screen, and you kept telling us when we faded it to drive the inside of the slot. I didn't see that. Show it to me. 2 years ago, I had to lose my mind. You guys got to come watch film. And they're like, why are we watching film for? You know, why do I have to sit here and watch film? We've grown in all those places, so it's the first time since we've been here where we have that. I'm not going to say it's an advantage, but we got one up on a lot of the teams in the league that we've got so many returning guys. Thanks, guys.